Welcome to School's Out 80s Comedy Story Time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of School's Out is Comedy Storytime. Got a really great guest coming to us all the way from the Virgin Islands, actually, the island of St. Thomas. Austin Brand, say hello to everybody at School's Out is.
Hey everyone, how you doing today? Hopefully we're gonna have a nice, funny episode here. Got a lot of
Absolutely,
stories
man.
running through my mind now. We'll see which ones are relevant.
Oh, there you go, man. No story is a bad story, Austin. So glad to have you on, man. Real impressed with all that you do and have done. It's just it's really cool to see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the show. So when you were in high school, my understanding is I think you went to high school, I believe in like Denver, Colorado. Is that right?
Yeah, and a little suburb there.
Aha.
Yeah,
Okay.
technically called
Nice.
Parker, Colorado.
What's that? I'm sorry.
It's technically Parker, Colorado, which is like a little suburb of Denver, where
Denver.
they have
Okay.
they have a movie theater there now. Sometimes they move the
Uh,
post office around. It's kind of cool.
Okay. And the major highway going through there is that I'm thinking it's I-26. Am I right on that?
I-25 goes through Denver. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's I-25. Okay, I got that wrong. Okay, all good, all good. Yeah, I've driven through Denver a few times, driving like up into the mountains to go camping, so on and so forth. But let's get back to you in high school. So you had told me prior that your mascot was what, the Wolverines?
The Wolverines. Yeah. You mentioned
Interesting.
camping. Have you ever been snipe hunting in Colorado?
I have asked people to go snipe hunting. I personally have
Oh,
never caught any snipes.
all right, that's good. That's a lot of respect there, John. If you know what snipe hunting is, all
Oh
right.
yeah, man, I know exactly what snipe. Some of my other guests have known about snipe hunting. See, I was a Boy Scout
Really?
when I was younger, and then I became a Boy Scout leader when I got to adulthood. So I was a Boy Scout leader for 7 years. So I took kids camping all over the country, and definitely they went snipe hunting, and then they also went and tried to find the automatic smoke changer from one of the pickup trucks.
Oh yeah, those are elusive as well. Yeah, all right,
Yes,
all
yes.
right.
You just can't ever find it. You just don't, you pack stuff and you just don't ever know where you packed. But hey, let's get back to you in high school. So you guys were the Wolverines. So did your like gym shirts have like a great big huge like Wolverine on it?
Dude, I don't even remember. The one shirt that comes to mind,
Uh-huh.
it's like just the head of a Wolverine, and it's like
Yeah.
fluffy, like almost like koala bear esque. It was not intimidating in any way possible.
I
But other than
see.
that,
Okay.
we never had like a live mascot. I don't even remember. I don't know where. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think we had mascots that often, but the one that I remember was a fluffy koala bear Wolverine.
Oh wow. So like a little baby Wolverine. It's not even scary. So like the competing football team would be like, oh no, we're gonna play the little cuddly
Yeah,
Wolverines.
yeah. Our
So
big rival was the Mustangs, and they all
ah,
ran
okay.
horses. Yeah, in Parker, it's a big country
Uh-huh.
town.
Okay.
So yeah, a little suburb.
Interesting.
People own horses. A lot
Yeah.
of one road took you out, one road took you in. Small
Okay.
little town.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. That can normally create a good drinking party. So I got another question about the Wolverine. So if you put a feather and a headband on one of your Wolverines today, that bad boy would get outlawed.
look at you. Look at you.
Well, we're dealing with the woke nation here in the United States now. So the people that are woke probably don't like to have a Wolverine dressed up like an Indian. But anyway, I digress. But let's talk about, so you grew up in a smaller town that was a suburb of Denver. And so typically that creates a lot of boredom, and boredom normally leads to debauchery. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, boredom. I mean, I think at one point, one of my buddies actually owned a hookah bar, and that was the hottest thing in the whole town, and it lasted like one summer. Other than that, we had a movie theater and a movie theater.
Okay. A hookah bar. Wow, that's kind of wild, and that's wild. So did you guys ever do any, like, I don't know, you find like a dirt gravel road outside of town, and you guys go and populate it from, like, 8 o'clock in the evening until 1 in the morning?
Like a street party?
Yeah, did you guys ever do those kind of get-togethers?
Sometimes. I mean, we would usually find someone's house out in the middle of the country, so we'd have like a big ranch with acreage and
Nice.
have our parties there. But we
Yeah,
definitely would
I
go
like
four-wheeling on our streets. We'd get out there and get all muddy and get our Jeep stuck and all that kind of stuff.
That's greatness. So when you were having those parties, was there like bonfires and things like that?
Yeah, lots of bonfires.
I like it.
Marshmallows.
Oh man, that's God's
big
country
old
kind of
country
living
parties.
there,
There's
man.
a lot of country parties for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. That is fun. So when you're having that, so it's kind of a small town. How many high schools were in your town?
2.
Okay. Oh man, so you got was it rivalry high schools? Like you went to middle school with these people and now you're rivalries?
Yeah, big rivalry. Senior pranks would always be against each other every year, trying to outdo each other. Here's a good story. So one time for our senior prank, I don't remember what they did to us. They were called Ponderosa. I don't remember what they did. I think they TP'd our football field or something like that. But we heard wind that they were planning something in the Walmart parking lot. We did have a Walmart. And so we got in our trucks and our cars and went and scouted it out. And they had, probably like 100, 150 people sitting there ready to do whatever they were going to plan. So we went into Walmart and bought dozens of eggs. And then we just drove, there's probably 8 to 10 trucks with guys in the back and the pickup side in the bed. And we just drove right through and we egged all of them. And then they all got in their cars and chased us and we all split up. And
did you egg them at their high school? Where did you egg them at?
Oh, in the parking lot. They were all standing outside their cars in the Walmart parking lot, just chilling, planning their prank. Whoa. So we wanted to go interrupt their prank, and we just went there. And I just remember having eggs and toilet paper, and we were just throwing them at them while they were all standing in the parking lot. And the front car honked, so they split. So there was 50 on each side, and we just drove through and just decked them all. And then we ran it in.
That is so funny. That's great. And so they're in the Walmart parking lot, so they can just if they don't have the eggs already, now that they just got egg, they just go in with all that gooey crap all over them and go buy carton after carton of eggs. But you guys had 10 cars. You guys weren't messing around.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they probably had 100 to 150 people there. And so we went in and some of us threw toilet paper, some threw eggs. And we just went in, and they were planning their prank on us. And I don't remember exactly what they were planning. I don't know. I don't know what they were planning, but we wanted to disrupt it. So I remember I got the call. I was already in bed. So it was a weeknight. I had school in the morning. And I remember I had to sneak out past my parents, get into my car and drive because I got the text. It was Ponderosa's planning a prank. Everyone meet here right now. Let's go. And I was like, all right. And so I had to sneak past my parents' bedroom. And then start the car and, you just quickly get it out of there before they can hear. And then, we showed up and took care of some business. And I do remember another prank. Maybe it was the next year. I don't remember what we were doing, but I remember being at their school, probably 15 of us. I don't know what we were trying to do, but I remember running around their school and I remember a lot of security. I remember hiding a lot, taking 2 hours to get back to the car because we were hiding from security and probably the cops because the cops have nothing else to do. I wish I remembered what our prank was, but I don't think we got it off. I don't think we got it off.
So did that escalate? Like after you, I mean, I know they went and got eggs and they chased you guys down. Where'd they chase you guys down to?
I remember my car, there's probably like 6 of us, and like we split off and went to one of my buddy's houses, and I remember we parked the car and we like hid it somewhere like next to trees, and we tried to like move the dumpster so they couldn't see that truck in case they recognize it. We were super freaking paranoid. I don't know why. Like
that's smart, man, because like you guys set yourself up for a disastrous type of situation possibly. So
we moved dumpsters, and then we just like ran into his apartment, and like we're waiting for like text for like someone to be like, they got us, come help, or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's just how the night ended. We just egged them, went and hid for like an hour, and then went home and went to bed.
So what was their retaliation? I mean, you guys got away with it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like they did something to the school, but I don't remember. I didn't really go to school early. I think my first period, I don't think I had a first period, so I just showed up late. And I remember, I think I heard a rumor, but I don't recall exactly what happened. Wow. I do remember one. Here's another good one. I remember one time there was 4 of us, and we were going TPing. And so 2 of us were in the car, and 2 went into the store. Oh my God, that's right. This is my buddy that had massive anger problems.
Oh no.
So this is Colorado. So we're sitting there in Walmart. 2 of us go in to buy a bunch of toilet paper to go help TP or whatever, and 2 of us are just chilling in the car waiting. And then when they go in, we're playing a prank, so we just move the car around so they have to come find us. So we see them come out, and they're like carrying a lot of toilet paper. It's super obvious what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we're in a different spot, like, joking or whatever. And I think we put our seats down to hide. So we're hiding, like, ha, ha, ha. We're little 16, 18-year-old kids, whatever. And then we kind of hear yelling, and it's my friend just yelling at someone else. And we kind of look up, like, who's he yelling at? And so this guy and I think a woman are chasing on my 2 friends and like screaming at him and yelling. And finally he gets to our car, and we're like, what the hell's going on, man? And he opens the back door, and he's like, man, F these guys. What the hell's going on? We're like, dude, you went to buy toilet paper. How did you piss someone off that bad? And then they like came up, and he like slams the door, and he starts yelling at him like, get the hell out of here or whatever, screaming at him. And then a security comes up and goes, hey, the cops are called. You guys can't leave yet. You have to stay here and wait. And we're all like 18-year-old kids. We're like, what the hell are we getting the cops called?
Oh, my God.
So he finally gets in and tells us that this random couple thinks that he stole their keys. They think that he stole their keys. And since he didn't know where we parked, he was walking around looking for our car. So they thought he was trying to unlock the car and steal their car. So they called the cops and everything.
Geez.
And so they kept accusing him, like, give us our keys back. We see you trying to find our car. And he's like, no, I'm just trying to find my friends that moved. So the cops come. Man. We're like, they actually detain us. I believe I was in cuffs in the back seat. I don't think I went in the cop car, but I think I sat on it. But there's like 6 cop cars that shine their lights, and they drew guns on us for buying toilet paper. So they had to write apology letters to our parents, because our parents are like, what the hell are you doing to kids at Walmart? Good God.
Yeah, he's buying the necessities of life, and you're banishing your gun, or is that right? Is it banishing, varnishing? What do you say when you they raise their gun? I'm not completely up on my SWAT terminology today. What is it?
I think it's brandishing.
I think you're right. I think it is brandishing. I like to think I have a good vocabulary, but then I can't think of a word when I want to think of it. And that's called midlife dementia.
Midlife dementia, brandishing. Yeah. Did you
brandishing? I like it.
Yeah. Did you ever do senior pranks in your high school?
We did. Let me think this through a little bit. Like we were just, for lack of a better term, we were honoring Austin. Like I literally grew up in the 80s. I'm a child of the 60s and the 70s, and we were always just trying to outdo our brothers and sisters with our pranks in the 80s because we felt like we had a lot to live up to because they did a lot of crazy stuff. So we need to up the game. let me think through though. I mean, we did, yeah, we toilet papered, we egged and things like that. But okay, I got one. Okay,
All
so
right.
when I was in high school, uh, I went to a private Catholic school, and that sounds like
Okay.
all prim and proper and whatever, but it was like the exact opposite. Like we were Helians, and we uh, we had, for whatever reason, they decided that because our auditorium was too small, that we didn't have enough seats for everybody. So our auditorium actually had a stage on top of it, like we could have plays and stuff like that. And then like when the teacher would have a one of those things where you get everybody together in the auditorium. What's that called? Where they have y'all in,
Yeah,
anyway.
auditorium.
Yeah, in the auditorium. So they decided they set bleachers up. They did this when my brother was in high school, and they continued. So the student body of my school would sit in these bleachers on top of the stage while the basketball game was playing, and it was and it was dark in there, so they couldn't tell what kid was saying what or doing what. So picture this, right? It's us against the competing high school. It's a basketball championship or whatever. Their player, we foul their player. Their player goes up to the free throw line, and as he's getting ready to like practice to put it into the hoop or whatever, a chunk of hot dog goes out right in front of his foot. And that was just the beginning. Like, I'm not going to call anybody out, but I'm pretty sure that since it was so dark back there, there was beer drinking going on that stage. There was only like one teacher up there, and we were all doing like rude sing-alongs. Couldn't call anybody out. Like we weren't cursing, but we were being rude, and we were being rude to the other team. Like the other team would get it. You know how like they move it around. Like you're an athlete, so they bounce it and they move it around. They get it to the right guy. The right guy is getting ready to shoot it, and you'd hear from the stage, miss it, so stuff like that. So that was kind of some of our little stuff we did. But I'm curious. So like two competing high schools like that, I gotta believe that like you guys. Did you guys ever duke it out? I mean, did you ever, fist it out at any point other than these senior pranks?
like big old school brawls?
Did that ever happen? I mean, a little bit?
Nah.
Oh,
I mean,
good
there
for
was
you
definitely
guys.
fist fights, like one or two people at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Parker was such a small town, like it was a rivalry, but it was so small we
Yeah.
were friends with them all anyways, because like there was
Yeah.
only so many people. It's like
Right.
if we alienate half the town, then we have way less people to hang out with. So like
Right.
in general,
that
I would
impresses
party
me
with
about
my
your,
people.
where you grew up, though.
Go ahead. What was that?
That impresses me about where you grew up. Okay, so I always ask this. So the lunchroom typically creates an environment where somebody might get picked on or somebody might get beat up, just because it's the one time where there isn't that much teacher supervision, particularly in high school where the teachers are going to like, their teacher room or whatever. And the kids are, all together. It's like a social cosm of all these different kids all forced to hang out with each other in the lunchroom. So I'm wondering, did you guys ever have any like upsetting things that went on in the lunchroom when you're in high school that you recall?
I'm sure there were, but I feel
Nothing
none
comes
that I
to mind.
recall.
That's okay.
It was a pretty calm school as far as
Was
I
it?
can recall.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like we were in like suburbia, man. It was like it was one of the fastest growing counties. Like I would say upper middle,
Yeah.
maybe not upper middle class, but definitely middle class.
Yeah, well, Denver's a good area, so there's a lot of jobs there. So that one has surprised me that there's some good incomes and people aren't starving.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
it definitely wasn't like inner city. It was pretty
Yeah,
soft,
yeah.
I would say.
Okay, no worries. So no fights in your lunchroom. So there were some little squabbles in my lunchroom, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that there was this
Well, I
kid in my high school and he was a little overweight, maybe a lot
All
overweight.
right.
And God love him. Nobody gets to choose the body, that we're given or whatever. But you know where the yearbook staff decided to take a picture of him to put into the yearbook?
No way.
Coming out of the lunchroom or going to the lunchroom holding his lunch. It was the worst thing he went to the football games. They could have got a picture of him at the football games. He went to the basketball games. They could have gotten a picture of him at the basketball games. They chose, and then they had this like caption that said, such and such and so and so. I'm not going to call him out because he might listen to this, but such and so and so doing what he likes to do best.
That's wild,
man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
if
like
his dad was an attorney, they could have sued.
Yeah, for real. The shit that used to happen back in the day, man. That would be
I'm with you, brother.
Politically incorrect.
I know. It's pretty wild. I think my neighbor's weed eating. If you hear that buzzing sound, I think my weed eater neighbor is like trying to mess with my podcast. So as soon as I get off this thing, I'm going to get my Evil Knievel cane and just go beat the crap out of him.
Oh man, well, no, you should leave it on and go do that. That would be much more fun.
No, I am. I got to show you my Evil Knievel cane. It's got like a brass ball on the top of it. I mean, you could kill somebody with my Evil Knievel cane.
Wait, but you're going to be recording when you go beat them up, right?
Well, technically, I've just completely, given myself up. So, like, if I did it, it would be premeditated. So I could go to prison for that, man. Probably if I beat him up, that would be like a felony.
Yeah, premeditated assault.
Yeah, I can't have a felony on my record. That wouldn't be good for my positive motivational business. And, I'm trying to inspire people out there.
You would just have to hang out with Trump more often with your felonies.
Okay. Okay, let's get back to you. So I like to ask this question, Austin. So when you were in high school, did you ever go on any blind dates? Did anybody ever set you up on any blind dates? And it doesn't have to be a blind date. Maybe you went on a date and the date just went incredibly wrong, and maybe that's funny. Anything like that would be good.
Huh. I think my dating was pretty impeccable. I dated some pretty cool, pretty awesome girls in high school.
Okay. So no issues. It all went well. So nothing funny to talk about there. What about concerts? Did you get to Denver to see some big concerts back when you were in high school?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not supposed to talk about it, but the first time I ever smoked green was at I think it was Warped Tour with Korn.
What was it?
Warped Tour.
Oh, Warped?
Warped. WARPED. Yeah, Warped Tour is like a metal tour. With, Korn headlined, Stone Sour, and I forget the others, but I remember that was like the first summer that we shared the ganja. So it's like grass. So it's like it's got seats in the front part, but the back part you just bring your own picnic stuff and it's all grass. So I remember just sitting there, and I was probably 17, and that was where we had our
Sounds
first.
Sounds like you're legal.
Yeah, and then they definitely had to, stop me from rolling down the hill into other people because I thought that was hilarious.
That's greatness! Wow, man! That is a real metal concert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was wet. I think it rained, so I was in the grass. I just kept rolling down, thinking it was the funniest thing ever, and rolling right into people that were sitting there or standing.
Oh, that is funny.
I don't think I got kicked out, but I think my friends finally were like, all right, we got to get out of here early. Like, Austin's causing a ruckus, and probably, especially with the metal crowd, if you wipe them out on their feet and they fall on their ass, they usually want to kick the shit out of you.
Right. But you were in Colorado. You were in Denver. It sounds like it, like some amphitheater.
Yeah.
And in Colorado, the green stuff is legal, right?
Yeah, now it is. Back then, it definitely wasn't.
Oh, was it? Okay.
No. That was definitely not legal back then.
Oh, well.
It was a couple years off, but yeah, definitely not legal.
No worries. You can't really go to a concert without just having that thick thick, skunky smell coming your way. I mean, that's going to happen like at any concert. Probably even at Dolly Parton. You go to a Dolly Parton concert, and you're like, man, Dolly's listeners, they like to toke it up a bit.
I mean, you go to any concert in Colorado, and there's going to be weed everywhere.
I bet. All good.
This reminds me of a funny story.
Yeah.
We went
Yeah, go ahead.
So we went to like a little concert, and one of my best friends is like, he's had a full beard since he was like 16, so he was always the one we'd send in to go buy alcohol at the liquor store.
I like it.
And so he I don't know, I'm not gonna call any names out, but so he would always be the guy that we'd go to. I also would, my brothers, you know, we all look pretty similar, especially if we have the same facial hair. I had pretty good beard back then too, so I could use my brother's ID. Sometimes he would like give me his old ID or something, or his college ID, and I would try to use that.
So how old was your brother?
Of the time. He's like 4 years older than me.
Nice. That works perfect.
Yeah, a lot of times he'd give me one of his backup IDs, and like I'd go to the bar, and then I'd give it to one of his friends, and they'd go right back outside and use the same ID to go back in again and be like, oh, I was just in or whatever. And so, but I remember after this concert, my buddy was wasted, and he was like, dude, I'm having this house party. You guys need to come over. And we came over. Oh, no, and he asked us to get booze. So we kind of, for one summer maybe, we were like the booze suppliers where we'd buy it and then we'd go upsell it and sell it to the whoever's throwing the party. And obviously back in high school, what's the coconut rum? Malibu coconut rum.
Yeah, Malibu. Very familiar with that.
And blue raspberry, UV blue was like the drink of choice. And so we went and bought these. Okay. And then we went and sold them to him. And I remember like, we had 2 or 3 parties we had to go to. So we just come from a concert. We swung by, grabbed like a bunch of booze to fulfill like 3 different parties. We were like the supply guys or something like that. We sell a couple bottles to the first party, and they're like, hey, we'll be back later. We got to go drop off a couple more. We go and sell it. We get back, and he's so drunk. He's like, hey, did you guys drop off the booze? And it was like an hour ago. We're like, yeah. He's like, you guys, no, we need more. You guys didn't, you were supposed to go to the store and buy some. We were like, oh, and we saw the bottles. We sold them like half gone over in like the corner. And so
who are you selling the bottles to?
We just sold it to the guy having the party. And he would give it to his friends or whatever. I don't know. We just sell it to him, and then he'd let everyone
it's all
drink
good, man. I like it. You were an entrepreneur even back then.
And so I remember I saw like the half the bottles, and I'm gonna take ownership for this. If it wasn't me, hopefully someone else will claim it. But I went over and I was like, oh, you're right. We haven't sold these to you yet. We got your order right now. And my friends kind of look at me like, what's he saying? We already gave him his order like an hour ago, and he drank half of it. So I grabbed those same bottles we already sold him at an upcharge rate. You know, say it was like $20 a bottle. We would sell it for $40 because they couldn't get it otherwise. And I brought him right back. I was like, yo, we could only get half bottles, but we have them right here. He's like, oh, sweet. And he's like, how much would it be? And I was like, well, they're only half, so we'll do it for like $50. So he gave us another $50.
That's
he literally
funny.
resold his own booze right back to him after he drank it. And then
so he bought it twice.
He bought the same bottle twice.
Oh my God. What an idiot.
And he probably doesn't know because he was so drunk that night. He probably still has no idea. But the 3 of us were laughing our ass off. You know, the rest of the night, we were like, I can't believe we sold it to him twice.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You know, I got kind of a story like that, but not completely like that. But it kind of goes with supply and demand, like back to economics in school. And so I was at this pretty big party. Like when I say big party, there was probably 300, maybe 400 people at this party. I mean, this party was huge. And it was in college. It was an Islander party. And so there was a lot of like kegs there, kegs of beer. And at some point we all ran, you know, the beer ran out. But there's always that like one guy that has to have another 6-pack. He's got to have another 6-pack. Now I want to give you an idea. So this would have been probably circa 1987. And back then, to give you an idea, you could get a 12-pack of good beer for $9. That's what a 12-pack of good beer cost was like. I'm sorry, A case of good beer costs like $9. A 12-pack costs like $5, like with tax. Like this was good. Like this was like your Budweiser of the day. It was before Bud Light came out or
Okay.
Coors or whatever. You might have Miller Lite was the only light beer that I even can think of at this point. But anyway, it was probably like 1 a.m. and this guy was just like, "Do you have a 6-pack? I will buy a 6-pack from you if you have a 6-pack." And I'm like, I'm a poor college kid, and yes, I had like a really bad 6-pack of beer, and I sold it to him for like $6. Like I had enough. It was probably Budweiser, so it was a good 6-pack of beer. It wasn't a bad 6-pack of beer. But think about that, like $6, he could have had a 12-pack for that. And, a case of bad beer. But anyway, supply and demand. And I was happy to get it. I probably asked him, like, how much money do you have in your pocket? Okay, that's how much it costs.
Whatever you got, if you need it, it's
yeah.
yours.
How much will you sell that to me for? I don't know. How much do you have? I don't know. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sold.
Sold. That's awesome.
You got it, man. Here it is. I think I had
What
I think I had a refrigerator that kept my beer cold in college. I think that was kind of a necessity. You had to have a beer fridge in college. Like you told your parents that, hey, I'm going to get hungry. I'm probably going to need to pick up some bologna or whatever. The whole time you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to need to keep my beer cold. So, okay. So let's talk about, because you'd mentioned meeting some famous people, Austin. Those are always good stories. I have a really recent good story for meeting famous people. But tell us a story about like when you met famous people, even if it didn't happen in high school. Hopefully, my listeners will be able to hear my weed-eating neighbor that's just going to get just like pummeled as soon as this is over.
I can't hear it at all, so I don't know. Maybe it won't come up.
Oh, you can't? Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. That means I got a good noise canceling on my mic. Okay. So let's talk about famous people you've met.
Famous people I've met. All right. So right before COVID, so Tim Howard is like probably one of the top 3 best goalies for the U.S. ever.
Oh, wow.
He had just gotten done. He just got transferred to the Realm, and he was eating at my friend's restaurant. And so I go there often. I know him, and my buddy like is the GM, and he's like, "Yo, Tim Howard's here." And I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool as hell." I love Tim Howard. And I didn't want to be the creepy guy or whatever, but he's not a huge celebrity outside the soccer world. So I was like, oh, well, as a soccer player, we can relate. He plays for the Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I was like, I've played against the Rapids. I know most of the Rapids players. I've been in the Colorado soccer world forever. And so as he's like leaving, I finally like, oh, okay. I walk up and I'm like, yo, Tim, can we grab a quick picture? The girl he's with finally like looked at her and I was like, can you on a date with a girl that I used to date back in college and played soccer in college.
What?
And so I kind of looked at her. I was like, can you take a picture of us? And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, I just want a picture of Tim. So it was like her ex-boyfriend. I don't know if I'd say boyfriend. Ex-guy she dated and a new guy she was dating. And we were like, hey, it was hilarious. Then I just took my phone back and was like, good to see ya. And then like walked back in.
I like it. So Austin, I think you told me you owned a house maybe for a short period of time in Dallas, or do you still own one in Dallas?
I just sold it a couple months ago. So I had it for like 3 or 4 years right in Arlington next to the stadium, next to AT&T Stadium.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, so that brings up a good famous story that I got that I can share with you. So,
nice.
So you probably have heard of kind of that world famous country singer Miranda Lambert. Does she sound familiar?
I'm not.
Oh, you haven't?
Country.
Okay, so she sings a song, "I'm drunk and I don't want to go home." How can you not love that one?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, now that I said that, you need to Google that or YouTube it. Like, it's a great song. But anyway, so Miranda Lambert, she has filled stadiums with like 40,000 fans. Like, she is big. She's huge. She's actually from Dallas originally.
Okay.
Her dad, I think, was a police officer for the Dallas police, group or whatever. And but anyway, so she's a very famous country singer, and it's kind of rock and rollish, so that's kind of why I get into it. But my story's great. So Miranda Lambert married a famous country singer, and he bought her a horse. And so she decided, now that she has a horse, that she needs to go to shows and try to win awards with their horse. So she takes lessons and everything, and now she's going to shows, showing off her horse. But here's where it gets funny, because my wife goes to horse shows because we own a horse, and so her people or whatever made it a point to go to each and every person that was entered in the horse show or was a spectator of the horse show, and say that, do not approach Miranda. If Miranda approaches you, it's okay, but do not proactively approach Miranda. And if you have to say anything to anybody about who that is over there, her name is Mandy. That's Mandy. Don't say Miranda. Her name is Mandy. And so this is funny. Like, the horse world is a small world, kind of like the soccer world's a small world. Like, everybody kind of knows everybody. And this is happening like in the Dallas area. So people know who Miranda Lambert is. So with all this incognito stuff, what do you think her RV said as she was, rolling into the show and everything? What did it say on it?
Did it say Miranda?
It said Miranda Lambert, like huge. Like, here she is trying to act like, I'm just a small little country girl named Mandy, here to show off my, here to participate in the horse show. And at the end of the day, she didn't
She's using her tour bus.
If she was really wanting to be incognito and nobody knows who she was, couldn't she have wrapped her RV or her bus or whatever to come to the show? Couldn't she have put a wrap on it? Like, she's got a little bit of money.
That would have been the smart thing to do.
Yeah, she chose not to, though. Like, she's like, incognito, but I'm Miranda Lambert. Look at my huge RV. I'm a multimillionaire. Come praise me.
Oh, that's funny.
Give me a ribbon. Okay. All right. So
I just thought of another celebrity meeting.
Oh, you did? Okay, go ahead.
All right. It's celebrity encounter. It wasn't even a meeting. But
that's good.
I have a weird feeling that if this story gets to him, he will go, "Oh, so that's that."
Okay, all right.
My brother's graduating law school in Atlanta. He went to Emory, right? So we're all down there. I think I went a couple days early than my family to just go hang out with him and explore.
Okay.
This is also one of the 2 times I have ever puked from alcohol. Actually, puked in general. I never puke, but this time I puked, and we'll get into that. So
my friend, have a good run. Like, there aren't too many people that drink a little alcohol that can say this is the one time that I got sick.
Yeah, like I never would puke. I would gag or feel bad or whatever, but I would never puke and this is the last time actually.
Now, Bill Clinton, he's probably never puked either because he never inhaled and he probably never really drank. He just drank, whiskey and then spit it out because he wasn't inhaling. So he must have had a bucket to. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're with all his law school and they have events, like here's a social or whatever. So at the end of the night, I am wasted, right? Super trashed. I'm sure they're all drunk too, but I went like extra hard, I guess. Oh no,
you're a little inebriated.
So the day before, I remember being like, dude, Atlanta, it's humid. It's like May or June, summer. It's hot. I hate it. So for some reason, we shaved off my chest hair. And like, I never shave off my chest hair and I never have sense because this is when my mojo, I lost my mojo and everyone convinced me it's because of that. So I shaved my chest because I thought it was so super hot or whatever. So I'm running around.
You're like smooth as a baby.
Yeah, like smooth. So I'm sitting there running around. and then got super drunk, and now we're at this bar, and like as we're walking in, someone's like, "Oh, Charles Barkley's at this bar," and I'm like,
Oh,
"Who's
no
Charles?"
way.
And I'm like, "Charles Barkley," and they're like, "Yeah," and they point at him, and he's a massive dude, right? He's like, I don't even know, like 6'7", 6'9",
dude, I
like
bet
that.
he's got hands as big as paper plates.
Oh yeah, so he's massive. So I like see him, and then like we go to our table, whatever.
Charles Barkley, yeah.
And I don't know, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but at some point, I gotta get his attention, or some drunk, stupid idiot thought, And I'm, how old am I? I'm probably like 21-ish. I'm probably like just legal drinking.
Okay.
So eventually, I go to the bathroom, and then on the way back, I see him. And I scream across the bar, and this is like the only vivid memory I have of this.
Yeah.
Like the whole bar stops and looks at me when I yell this. And I'm what, like 5'10", 5'11". This little white guy goes, "Hey, Charles, I'll dunk on your ass."
Oh my God, dude.
The whole bar looks over. I see my brother like look over and go, "Oh." So he gets up, runs over, and grabs me, and they bring me back to the table. And they're like, "Yeah, we'll cash out and everything." And I'm like, "I will dunk on his ass right now," and like just screaming how I'm gonna dunk on a guy that's like literally a foot taller than me.
That's funny.
So then they all whisk me out, and then on the way out, we're walking. Go ahead.
Did he respond, Austin?
I don't think so. I think he looked.
Did he look at you or anything?
I screamed, and that whole bar was looking at me. And so I'm sure he looked, and in his head, he probably looked and was like, it probably happens often, but the fact that this little white guy yelled, "I will dunk on your ass," those words, he was probably like, Jesus, that guy's trash. So hopefully he'll see this and be like, I do remember that moment. That was one dumb guy I saw. And now he knows it was
funny though, man. That is funny. Like, what made you that is funny.
Yeah. So, Charles, if you ever see this and you want to have a dunking competition, I'm in.
Bring the ladder, Charles. Bring the ladder.
Bring the ladder, because I've never dunked ever.
Bring the trampoline. You are in. You are going to dunk on him. That's awesome. All right. So, Austin, this is the time in the show where we promote what we do. So this is kind of an open forum. Go ahead and tell us what we do, what you do. Pardon me. I'll go ahead and share what I do.
All I do is help people, and especially help small businesses. So I've got a show with a lot of information, millionairesaremade.com. I do free coaching for people and local businesses. And in my specific community here, as well as in Denver, I create lots of market materials, websites, sales funnels, and do a lot of stuff as cheap as possible. And just help give as much as you can, because I think everyone has the right and should have the privilege to be financially free.
Yeah.
And it's super, super difficult.
Yeah, man, Austin, that's awesome. We'll put like your Facebook business page link or whatever in the show notes, and we'll definitely promote you. I think what you do is absolutely wonderful. I'll go ahead and promote what I do. I am John the Sales Warrior Sansoni. I've been professionally selling successfully for 34 years. What can I teach you? How to prospect, present, follow up, and most importantly, how to close. I have a 3-day masterclass that includes inspiration, motivation, and the mental tools to succeed in business and sales. My course includes worksheets, audio, video, and can be taken in 30 action blocks. Also included, how to have greater confidence. My course should be $400. If you get it today, $29.95. And included my book for free. Once purchased, you'll get free monthly inspiration from me. Just go to saleswarriorinspire.com and order yours today. That's it. Back to the show.
Damn, John, that sounds real good. I can't wait
Yeah,
to
man,
try
Austin,
myself.
thanks, dude. Man, Austin, been wonderful having you on the show, man. You got some good stories. I mean, it's hard to like take it all in because I've been like in meetings all day, but man, egging, not getting into fist fights, meeting famous people. You're living on, a Virgin Island that somebody might just dream about. Man, you're living the good life, my friend. You're living the good life.
hopefully I can help teach everyone else how to live their dream life too.
That's awesome, man. Austin, we're going to go ahead and sign off now. So,
All right.
well, Austin, go ahead and tell everybody goodbye from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands.
Thanks for having me, everyone. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of my life. Hopefully I'll be back on with some more stories, and I'll be able to meet Charles Barkley at some point and show him how I can never dunk.
Awesome, man. So that was Austin from the Virgin Islands, and from Dallas, Texas, this is John, the Sales Warrior, saying cheers, everybody.